So net results have got announced. You were expecting a good percentage, but you flunked and you feel miserable. You don't know how to show your face to your family and friends. You don't know what to do with your life, and your motivation has fallen flat. Hi, hello. My name is Aatiya. Welcome to PhDpreneur, where we discuss about PhD mindset and research. So today's video would be all about the miserable feelings that you're feeling, and by no way I'm going to give you a solution, but just let's see how to go around things and what are the feelings that may arise. So whenever there's something called as spotlight effect, and this is not just something common with net aspirants but with everyone, we feel that entire world's focus is on us. We feel that we are the only ones who matter, but practically if you go to see, we stand nowhere. Nobody cares whether we fail or not. Nobody doesn't give a damn. But in our own world, we feel important, and that is something called as spotlight effect. So what I want one thing to realize is that such a thing exists, and your feelings may not be a true representation. I will come to the failure part, but feelings may not be a true representation. And this I realized when I was also clearing several entrances after masters and was repeatedly failing. I realized that I felt important, but nobody really cared. So whenever I used to go for a job interview, I had that hesitation that I didn't clear net. There could be people who have cleared net and they might get the job. But the thing is that I have got selected in several places even when there was competition. So what we do is we generally tend to put all the value on one thing. And especially we are doing it for a long time and we are getting this repeated response, then we tend to do this. But just being aware that whatever you are does not depend on the net qualification. And that is one thing that I want everyone to remember. I personally always believe in something called as eventual success. And what does eventual success mean? Say suppose you are on a path to lose 10 kgs. You are not seeing any difference in 1 week, in 2 weeks. But that does not mean that you have failed. It just means that it requires a little bit more time. So what the alternate way of thinking of failure is eventual success, that you will eventually get there if you are on the right path. And how do you know if you are on the right path? By taking feedback from people who have cleared it. Initially, one mistake that I did was to take feedback from people who have not cleared it. I used to always get responses like, it's very tough to clear, it's really hard, then several things are happening, the job market is collapsing, and all that stuff. And I didn't like it. But then I realized when I started introspecting that if I want to clear, I need to be in association with people who have cleared it, not in touch with people who have not done anything in their life. So these things really shift the way it's happening, and the way your mind functions is on optimism. Being optimistic, surviving is not something about just going with the flow. Okay, it's also introspecting what is going wrong and what is happening. What we generally do is whenever a result is announced, we soon move to preparation. We soon move to other things without really taking time to feel the loss. If something was this important to you, I'm sure you are feeling that loss. So what I used to do was go for a haircut, go to a salon, and whatever treatments, whatever I normally get, that I used to get it done. So these are some things that really help in shifting how you feel. You just have one haircut, your mood will shift significantly. Then I used to go on the terrace and sit. And on the terrace also there was another large platform, so I used to sit on that and just be aware of what is happening. We don't want anybody's sympathy, we don't want to do anything, but just being aware of what is happening, that really helps. If you go by research also, your appearance does have an effect on your mood. So if your appearance is unkept, how much ever you say that appearance doesn't matter and all that, it does matter in my opinion. And if the appearance can have effect on your mood, good appearance can have effect on your mood and raise your mood to a better level, then obviously if you have bad appearance, if you are not kept well, if you are not presentable, that also adversely affects. Mentally, there are so many things that everyone wants to do, but physically these are some of the things, and I encourage everyone who has failed NET exam to go for a haircut. The thing is that whenever we are on the edge of doing something that is slightly out of my comfort zone, there itself is a challenge. You are not going to dream about something which is easy, and that is why you are feeling these feelings, because it was out of your comfort zone, because it challenged your intelligence, and that is why you are feeling sad also, because your ego also has taken a hit. So this is something called as Goldilocks rule. If you are on the edge of doing something which is slightly challenging, slightly outside your comfort zone, that is where your motivation occurs. If you want to get into that motivated zone, firstly you have to see is it too difficult? If you are in a place where you know the syllabus but you don't know how to go about it, you are not aware of the strategy part, then obviously it's too much outside your comfort zone. Okay, if it is on the boundary of your comfort zone, you are going to crack it. So the best thing you can do is take coaching or find a mentor. This does not mean you have to sign up for paid coaching only, and even if it's paid coaching, there is nothing wrong in that. Just give 6 months to it and it will take your awareness to the next level, where your blind spots are and where you are making mistakes. So if you are preparing by yourself and you have failed, chances are there is something wrong with the strategy. If you have already taken coaching and you have failed, then there are chances that somewhat more time would have been required. So these are two situations where you need to really assess yourself and be very honest about your shortcomings. And when I was preparing for these entrances, there was one girl in my class, and one day she started crying. She was married and had a kid also. She was feeling that she was not getting time because of whatever household chores and all that, and there was no fixed block where she could study, and because of that her grades in class were always falling. So having a particular time is critical. You may do everything, but if there is no time to practice, it's critical. You will have to force yourself to be motivated if you are distracted. But if you are in that zone of focus and genius and flow, the concept of flow is this: it's nothing but losing yourself in the task. If you are not getting time for that, then it's just not possible that even you are going to stay motivated. So just few examples that I want to give. So the famous person Maya Angelou, she used to rent a local hotel room and went there to write, and she used to arrive at 6:30 a.m., wrote until 2 p.m. and then she used to go back home. Michael Chabon, he is a Pulitzer Prize winner. He used to write 5 nights per week from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. Then Haruki Murakami, he used to wake up at 4 a.m., write for 5 hours and then used to go for a run. So all these people, if you see, one thing is common is that they really took their craft seriously and scheduled the time blocks. If you just say today you are going to study, it doesn't matter. It will even not make a difference. These things you know, but are you practicing it? That is something that I would like to emphasize. One really limiting belief I had was when I was preparing. If I prepare, then everything will get over. If I prepare for this particular topic, then I won't have any time. So I used to procrastinate and then it used to reflect on my results. And these are small things that if you try to avoid, it really makes that difference of make or break. Now that you have got your result and you know that you have flunked, what I want you to do is that not stop mixing with people, because if you stop it, you will go into a shell and you will go into depression. So this is something that I want you to avoid at all cost, going into your shell and not mixing with people. Because of this, if you are already on an introvert side, then it's a different story. But if you are avoiding social occasions because you will be asked questions about your career, about NET exam, about the result, then this is a warning sign, it's a red flag. So this should be avoided at all cost. I have been there, I have done that. I know how it feels to fail. I know how it feels when people ask questions. She's always studying, then why didn't she clear it? She must have not studied. So this is the response. response, and I'm aware of that. I can understand your feelings 110%, but this is a time to think rationally and to take control of your life. When somebody says these things and you are really passionate about that thing, okay, nobody goes to answer net simply just like that. होता है तो होता है, नहीं होता है तो नहीं होता है. Only serious people who really have the inclination of getting into research or teaching, they are going to get into this. So that shows the fact that you have even considered answering net shows your seriousness towards your craft, and don't let anyone put water on that. इसके सपनों पे पानी फेर दिया, इसके अरमानों पे पानी फेर दिया. Don't let anyone do that to you. You can say that it will take some time. You can do a job in the meanwhile if you're feeling that demotivated. You can start something new. You can start a hobby. So what do you do when you feel like giving up? You just show up. You don't have to study for 3 hours. You just go sit with your books for 15 minutes. Just for 15 minutes and you'll be done. And these same people who are saying things and passing comments, they are the ones who are going to appreciate you later. Trust me. Same people who had said so many things then came to congratulate me later. And some didn't have the mouth to congratulate because they were full of their ego. But my point was already proven. So don't go by societal definition of what should happen and what should not happen. I hope I have been successful in putting little bit of balm on your feelings if you are struggling, and let me know in the comments if you were preparing for this exam and how was it. Okay, bye.